If it weren't for Reiki, I would not have a YouTube channel. I would not be on Facebook. I would not any of this at all. And so it's all because of Reiki. And so to the person who is afraid to put themselves out there, I want to say, believe it or not, I get it. 500 videos available. Yes, I understand you. I think what really helped me in the beginning with that, Michaela.
Hey friends, this is Michaela here at Heartscapes Reiki,
And Christian of Standing Stones Healing.
and we are two Reiki people and two YouTubers here on YouTube to talk about YouTube. So Christian, why don't you let the folks know what we're up to today?
Yes, Michaela, thank you so very much. So, you may very well be watching this video on my channel. You may very well be watching this video on Michaela's channel. But I reached out to Michaela and said, hey, Michaela, you have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. And what do you think about talking about YouTube for anyone else who might be interested in learning about YouTube? I'd recently done an episode of the Build Your Reiki Business podcast about YouTube. Michaela recently hit 1,000 subs on YouTube. Congratulations. And I thought, what a great time to talk about our YouTube journeys and to maybe even take you behind the scenes of what it's like for us as Reiki practitioners with YouTube channels, to share some encouragement with you on the YouTube journey.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love that for your channel, this is really right in line with what you do. You offer a space for people who want to build their Reiki business to gain skills and perspectives and community and support around that endeavor. Often those of us who start a Reiki business, we're in it for the Reiki. We're in it for the community. We're in it for, following our heart. We're not necessarily business folk. I know I wasn't. And so I really appreciate the work that you do. Over here on my channel, this is a bit of a different kind of topic than we usually talk about. But every once in a while, I'll do kind of a behind the scenes video, talk about my business strategy planning and, whatever, a little bit of like behind the curtain. So this is in that category. And yeah, I'm really excited to for hopefully this will benefit those of you watching, but also for our benefit to just kind of take a little bit of a step back and take a look at the journey of, what are the bones and the structure of our businesses, right? Because, if we don't have a way of connecting with people, of reaching across the gulf to, get our voices and our hands, to the people that are meant to work with us, then we don't actually have a business, right? We have more of a private practice. And so, as a business owner, we have lots of different options with how to extend our hand. And it's just interesting to me how people come to the things that we use to do that connecting. And YouTube has definitely been, quite to my shock and surprise, has become really one of my favorite ways of doing that. So yeah, I'm excited about this conversation.
Yeah. So, Michaela, let's start there. You recently hit 1,000 subs. That's really exciting. Congratulations. That is a big YouTube milestone. So, talk to us about that. How does it feel to hit 1,000 subs?
Oh, it was super fun. There is a certain like gamification of these things, where you've got all of your back end analytics and you can track your progress and your patterns and your whatnot. And at first those numbers are very small. Of course, you're reaching a handful of people. Another handful of people are watching your videos. Maybe they're not even watching them all the way through. I tend to not look at that statistic that tells you the percentage of the video that tends to get watched. Because it makes me sad. But it's like, here's this 45-minute video. People tend to watch on average 4.5 minutes of it. It's like, oh man. But over time, as these things work, it gains momentum. And so at a certain point, it became kind of fun tracking those statistics as opposed to like anxiety producing. And that really, it almost like helped to shift my mindset. I mean, my primary function, and this is a question I have for you as well, Christian, my primary, purpose for being here on YouTube is to create a space to teach, to connect, to give potential clients or students a opportunity to see my teaching style and my perspective on the system of Reiki, and build that connection, start having that conversation. And so really as a marketing tool, for my business primarily. And from that perspective, I'm really interested in meeting the right people, like the people who are really simpatico with what we talk about here on my channel, more so than like large quantities. But there's always that little, more is better kind of feeling. And so knowing that 1,000 subscribers is really the first milestone that YouTube notices and cares about, other than just starting your channel to begin with, there was a certain, again, kind of gamified excitement of like hitting that number. Secondarily, there's the question of monetization, which is one of those kind of mysterious topics. I always love it when YouTubers that I follow kind of give a little inside view into like, how does that work? Like, how do you make money on YouTube? How much money do you make on YouTube? And it's so much a game of scale. And so, yeah, it's, again, it's like, it's funny and like, I'm kind of in the point of like teasing myself about it, that like I have now made $10.57 talking on the internet. Woo, it's a tiny number, but there's still a little like sense of accomplishment in that I'm enjoying in this particular moment. I'm only 5 days in, so.
Yeah, but that's awesome. And for those tuning in who don't know, currently, this changes with YouTube, so it's currently different from what it used to be. But right now, you can monetize your channel once you hit 1,000 subs and 4,000 hours of watch time in a month. And so
in a year, I
in a
think
year,
it's,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, 365 days. So you have to maintain, on any given day, if you go back 1 year, 365 days, there must be 4,000 watch hours in that time period. And that has to stay consistent along with your 1,000 subs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so then, of course, once you hit that point, you're able to monetize your channel and get paid for it. And so, yeah, I think that there are questions around that. I maybe for there are YouTubers who go into creating a channel specifically for the monetization,
Absolutely.
especially because YouTube is the number one place on social media to monetize. It has the largest payouts, and there are YouTubers who create a channel specifically for that. My guess is, Michaela, that you weren't one of them. I know I wasn't. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like my goal was to connect with people, let them get to know me, and to get a feel for me through video, since video is so powerful.
Yeah.
But I will say that for me, I always thought, oh, I won't monetize my channel. It's not about the money. But I will say, having YouTube just put ads on your videos without your permission kind of makes you want to monetize your channel.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked when I realized, I went back and like was watching one of my old videos for some reason, and like there's ads on there. So it's like they're getting paid
Yes.
pennies, on my tiny little viewership for those older videos. So yeah, I'm like, if they're gonna put ads on there anyway, why not have a little piece of that?
Yes. Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
and when we think about like the types of businesses that we are, small single person, maybe a couple of people, doing work that's so variable in, how many people are, using those services on a given day. How to remain, fiscally solvent is a huge question. And it's not one that I've fully solved, like, to be perfectly honest. And so, one of the really educational things about watching some of the other YouTube channels that I watch, where people were doing something that they loved, right? So I watch a lot of homesteading and farming channels because that's another passion of mine. They're doing something that they love, that is the lifestyle that they want to live. And they have to somehow earn a living where most of their time is devoted to basically their lifestyle. And so YouTube kind of coming alongside of that as a way of bringing, some financial resources into that space by sharing that journey with other people who genuinely want to hear about it. Now there's a lot of different ways that, to look at the ethics of like what you share and how, to what degree you present a realistic view, particularly if we're talking about vloggers and, lifestyle channels. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm very inspired by businesses that bring in, puzzle pieces that all fit together into a coherent package, but that have these different income streams that help to support each other. So that's kind of where my mind was at around the question of like, could my YouTube channel be one of those streams? Still an open question.
Yeah. And I think that the answer is yes, because of that compounding effect of YouTube. That's actually one of the things that drew me to YouTube when I started my channel, was knowing that the videos on YouTube are there forever and they just gain more and more views. And with that compounding effect, as long as you don't quit, well, even actually, if you did quit, you can still get subscribers,
Yeah.
um, and your videos are still out there gaining views. But just that compounding effect of YouTube is really what drew me to it, and knowing that it is something for the long term. And I really kind of see YouTube as an investment and a long term investment in my business as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've talked a little bit about how you view YouTube in the ecosystem of your business. I wonder if there are other ways that you view YouTube that other people might be able to learn from in
Yeah.
terms of that business ecosystem.
Yeah, thanks, Michaela. So for me, I like to use YouTube and house unlisted videos there.
Mm,
So I have, 600 something videos on my channel. Only like 500 of those are viewable. And so I will upload videos to YouTube, list them as unlisted, and then use that link for things that I want to share with very specific groups of
yep.
people. So, like my Reiki music or something that I might upload, maybe I might have it publicly available on YouTube, but I also might upload a link that's unlisted that's going to get fewer views and therefore fewer ads.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's actually a really good point. And I hadn't even thought about that because that's actually one of the original uses that I also had for this channel. It's where, so, when I do an online class that has a recorded component, I just recently acquired a Thinkific classroom where there can be a more formal place to house those things, and students can download those videos, and just kind of a more robust like classroom space. But prior to that, like sharing those unlisted YouTube videos is how I share those the access to those recordings. It has a downside that they can't be downloaded. I don't believe, I couldn't figure out how to do it if there is a way out of YouTube onto the person's personal computer. So my commitment is just to kind of leave them there, right? Not to delete them, at least for a period of time. But, especially for more, casual, like I do a monthly free class that has a recording, like I'm not going to bother putting those into Thinkific as a formal class because they're really, intended to kind of be that, just that spark of connection. So yeah, perfect place to share those videos through a platform where it's free, right? Because it's free to join YouTube. It's free to have a YouTube channel. And you can use it for video storage. Again, there's some limitations on that other platforms that are paid versions will give you more features, but it's a really great way, especially when starting out, to house that material that you can share easily. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I agree, Michaela. And actually, like Build Your Reiki Business, that program is also on Thinkific. But I uploaded all of those videos to YouTube and set them as private. really just as a like safe storage for them. I have them saved on my computer, they're saved on Thinkific, but I have them saved externally as well, but I don't want to lose those if anything should happen, so I put them on YouTube. Only I can view them, but they're there for safekeeping.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had another question for you.
Yeah, sure.
So one of the things that's challenging about beginning YouTube, especially, well, in either way, whether or not your goal is to monetize or if your goal is to connect, is that, it's run on an algorithm that rewards engagement. So the more that other people engage with your videos by, watching them, liking them, commenting on them, sharing them, subscribing to your channel, the more YouTube is going to show it to more people because it flags that content as having some value, and therefore it's going to show it out. But when you first start out, getting that initial engagement to kind of get the momentum going can be really challenging. And so I know there's a variety of strategies for helping to build that momentum, consistency being one of them, which I struggle with so very much. But I wonder what you would advise to, so I'm thinking about a particular person who has a YouTube channel and who has uploaded a video every Friday for a long time, very consistent. She does Akashic Records readings. She's excellent at it. She's, provides a lot of value, and she does, this weekly kind of Akashic, kind of oracle reading, if you will. They are super valuable and really lovely. And she has a really hard time getting traction on her channel. And so consistency alone isn't doing it. I have some thoughts about what might improve that, but I really wanted to dig into that conversation with you. Like, how do you gain momentum on the front end before the algorithm has noticed you and picked it up?
That's a great question. And I would say that I'm still waiting for the algorithm to notice me and pick me up. But and I think that that's something that is just ongoing for all of us. And I am sure that people, even with 1 million subscribers, would say that, have that kind of thought as well. So in other words, maybe that doesn't ever end. Yes, YouTube will recommend your stuff to other viewers, and that's how people can find you. But as far as the legwork of getting our stuff out there, for me, it's just all about the sharing on other social media platforms to help bring traffic to your YouTube channel is really helpful. I don't know about you, Michaela, but I remember YouTube doesn't do this anymore. But years ago, you could when you had fewer than 100 subscribers, you could turn off the number of subscribers so no one would know that you hardly had any subs.
Oh, that's funny.
Right?
Yeah.
So they could just see your channel and not see the number of subs. I actually did turn that off on my channel because for me it's not about the numbers, and for me it was a way to also just not concentrate on them. But when we're trying to build up our numbers, I think that we can focus on the fact that we don't have any and almost kind of like worry that there's something. Yes, there are always things that we can do to increase traffic to our channel. But I think that if someone is consistent and sticks with it and keeps doing it, eventually that will compound. I
Yeah.
think the real struggle with YouTube is quitting before that compounding effect takes place.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Because we don't know how long it's going to take, right? And I think that that's really, I love what you say about the hiding the subs for two reasons. One, because it can help take our mind off of that, the numbers as a goal, right? Because if our goal is to share what we're passionate about and connect with the right people, if we're connecting with 10 of the right people, that's 10 more people than we were connected with before. So there's value in that. The other piece though, like in the how do we build our numbers, is that, we do want to gravitate to where other people are. So, if we see a channel that had, like, so I have a garden channel as well as my Reiki channel. I decided to separate that content. That channel has 32 subs on it, right? Or maybe it's 33 at this point. Tiny little itty bitty channel, right? It's really more like friends and family is kind of the idea of that. I don't have like numbers goals for that channel. But if someone were to see that channel, oh, there's only 33 other people here, right? This isn't much of a party. There's only 33 other people here. This must not be of much value. So I can see the utility of turning that off for the kind of psychological impact on the viewer. The other thing you said that I think is really valuable is that we really need to think about these connection streams, right? Marketing streams, but marketing is about connection, right? And many of us can have a bit of an allergy to the term marketing, and there are many ways to market that feel gross and that are manipulative and that we don't want any part of. But, we need to remember that at its essence, marketing is about connecting with the people that we're meant to serve, that we're meant to work with, that we're meant to be in relationship with, that we're meant to be in reciprocity with. So, if we're thinking about the ecosystem of our marketing, of our the connecting arm of our business, it is an ecosystem. The different aspects of it have to relate to each other, right? So if we have a newsletter and we have a YouTube channel and we have a Facebook group, and maybe we do, talks in public in our local area, maybe we have a blog, right? All of those things should be referring back to each other, right? If we're not referencing those other, marketing aspects, then we're really hobbling ourselves in building any of them. So, every time I send out a newsletter, I link one of my YouTube videos in there, tie it into whatever the topic of the newsletter is. Sometimes, when I'm really on my game, I've like picked a theme for that week, and the YouTube video and the newsletter topic and my Facebook posts are all centered on that theme. Again, consistency, not my thing. So that doesn't always happen. But, I've got enough, I'm sure for you with, 500 public videos, you've got a wealth of content that you can insert in just about any conversation. I see you doing it in your Facebook group. Like someone asks a question, you're like, yep, got a video on that. Here you go.
Yeah. I don't have a video. I don't have a video. I have an article, but I probably have a video if I have an article.
Exactly, right? So like the blog, the video, right? So they should be referencing each other. When I'm giving a talk, I try to remember to name it, and there can be a bit of a psychological barrier around that, especially if we have any kind of like, I don't want to be seen, I'm just a humble servant. I don't want people like, I don't want to be too self-referential. Like, is it ego to be like, hey, watch my YouTube channel, whatever. And I think those are really important points of kind of self-reflection for us, because there is a point where we get, two in our heads about our own value and how we talk about our things. But if we keep coming back to, right, what is the reason that we're in business? Or even if it's not a business for you, what's the reason that I want to share my ideas in a public space at all, right? The reason is we want to connect. We want people to hear them. And if we ourselves aren't willing to name that we do that, and that we have this value that we've put out in the world, then, we really got to question why we're doing it at all. And so, there's absolutely ways, and of course, being in professions that have lots of kind of self-reflective aspects to them, we have, if we're in our actual practice, if we're walking our talk, we can be in that self-reflective process of like checking in, right? Am I sharing this in a way that's bringing value, or am I sharing it in a way that's stroking my ego, right? Or, maybe there's a little bit of both going on, but, really what is my purpose for sharing this? And when we think about, these streams of connection as an ecosystem, it becomes clear that they need to be in relationship with each other. So if we have a Facebook group, we got to put our videos in there. If we have a YouTube channel, we need to tell people we have a Facebook group. Come on over here, right? Continue the conversation. And I have to constantly remind myself to do that, because I can get into that like siloed thinking, like this is YouTube and this is this and this is that. And I'm talking at a, local group. I don't want to be like, and also watch my YouTube videos, but like people want to know how can I stay in touch, right? How can I hear more from you? And so, again, coming back to this is about connection and it's about being of service. These are part of the ways that we're of service. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for that, Michaela. That idea of being reticent to put ourselves out there actually resonates with me. It may surprise people, but I've never ever thought that I would be doing these things. I never thought that I would have a YouTube channel, never wanted one. I never thought that I would be all over Facebook, let alone be on Facebook in the first place. And with 500 videos, I still am like, seriously, I still do this because and here I am in my videos, greetings. It seems like just, yes, I'm so happy to be here. And I am, but it's not anything I ever would have done or wanted to do. I'm here because of Reiki. I know you are too, and so if it weren't for Reiki, I would not have a YouTube channel. I would not be on Facebook. I would not any of this at all. And so it's all because of Reiki. And so to the person who is afraid to put themselves out there, I want to say, believe it or not, I get it. 500 videos available. Yes, I understand you. I think what really helped me in the beginning with that, Michaela, was knowing that no one was going to see those videos. And really, when you put your first videos out, like no one sees them anyway.
Right. So they
And
can be bad, you can
oh
be
yeah,
tripping over yourself, right? It's fine.
yep,
No one's
yep. It's as a matter of fact, be on the lookout for any channel where the first videos are beautiful and perfectly produced and well done. It's probably a fake channel.
either that or they went and deleted like a bunch of their stuff.
Oh, oh, they could have done that.
Yeah, yeah. But I like having those bad early videos on there, right? Because it's like
Yeah.
you track your progress.
That's right. I'm not deleting them, they're inspiration for others and they're still, circulating on YouTube. And so they're still, if I, end up monetizing, getting paid, they'll still have the opportunity to bring in money too. So
Yeah, let them work.
that's right. That's right.
I really appreciate this, this acknowledgement that, coming into social media is not something that feels comfortable for everybody, right? It's so ubiquitous now. Like people just assume, yeah, you're on all the things. Not everybody are on all the things, and not everyone are on them, willingly. There might be a reluctance there. And that's just real, right? It's not a comfortable space for everybody. And similarly, like making videos of myself was something I was very self-conscious of. And I think I shared this with you when you were talking about the importance of blogs, which I'm still struggling to reintroduce my blog. Although I appreciated all of your tips on how to do that well and make it easy. If any of y'all want to start a blog, which is apparently coming back into style, is very valuable for your business, you should watch Christian's contents on the value of blogging. But I started off with that because I'm a writer. I love to write. I'm good at it. I've come from a family of writers, right? So it was obvious to me I'm going to have a blog, right? And I, would put a lot of time and attention into these articles and like treating them like essays or something that was, I just really spent way too much time on them. And it became very frustrating because I needed that to work for me as a marketing space. And it just was not, because it was taking me forever. And I realized that while I'm a good writer, I am a writer who takes a lot of time. Like I'm slow. I'm very iterative, and it, just takes me a long time to get to a point where I can be like, yes, I will publish this. And so that's, in the beginning, I'm just like was surprised at how easy it felt to just turn on the camera and talk, right? And to not worry so much about all of the editing, and I do some editing now on my videos, and at first when I was doing Reiki content, I was scripting out my videos, right? I was doing the same thing with the blog, and then I would publish it in both spaces. So it was redundant in a good way. But I would, take all that time to write out a script, and then I would have to like deliver the script, I was like, I'm not doing this right. This is not the way that I should be doing this. And when I kind of let go of that need to like hold it so tightly and just was like, this is about sitting down with my friends and talking to you, you know, just speaking from my heart. And there's some topics that I do prepare more, you know, I might have some notes or I might have thought it through or, you know, made sure that I really have my points in order. But for the most part, it's just like, here's a topic that I have in my heart. You know, I know it. Like it's either based on my direct experience or something I've really studied, or usually a combination of the two. You know, it is a sphere of genius for me. I have it in me. I can just talk about it. And I was shocked at how good that felt when I really got that like, I don't have to script this out. I don't have to have all the words exactly right. I don't have to edit the crap out of it. Like, you know, I can just sit down and talk to my people. It just felt great. And then it was like, oh, okay, maybe this is the way to go. You know, I don't know. Do you feel that like that ease and just kind of sitting down and talking about something that you just have in you so clearly?
Yeah. And I think that sometimes I should probably do a little bit more scripting. I don't do any scripting. And most of my YouTube videos are from my Facebook Lives. I just go live and then upload that to YouTube. Now, of course, in terms of YouTube best practices, we know that that's not the best for getting likes and subscribes and views and watch time and all of that. So we know that that's not the best, but I do it because it's the easiest. And I will say that sometimes I'll hit live and I'll start talking and been like, I probably should have thought this out a little bit more.
Where am I going with this? I'm not quite sure. Well, you know, it's an extra layer of bravery. Like I have yet to ever go live on any platform. Like it scares me. You know, and I'm going to be honest, it's just a self-own here. The thing that scares me the most is the old wound of like, I'm going to throw a party and no one's going to come. You know, I'm going to go live and nobody's going to come join me
And that
live.
is true. And that is true. I
Yeah.
still
And so I
have
have to be just like, okay, again, I'm just talking, you know, that I'm like, I'm just going to record it and
yeah,
edit it. Anyway, I
yes.
I admire you for your going live bravery.
Yes. Well, I will tell you, still no one shows up. And I'm okay with that because, while I'm fine to interact and happy to interact, there are some times when I'm going live just to have it on Facebook and then to upload it to YouTube. And
Yeah,
so,
the
I'm
mechanism.
okay
Yeah.
with people not showing up. And so that doesn't bother me at all. And as a matter of fact, when I go live impromptu, I don't expect there to be
Yeah.
really many people there at all.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if you go live and no one shows up, first of all, well done. And yep, not a surprise.
Yeah. 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 I love it. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hmm. So what else is on your mind? What do you want to share with the peoples
Yeah,
about the
well,
YouTube?
I'm curious to know, Michaela, in terms of YouTube, what are some of the challenges that you have found? Like, for instance, for me and my channel, one thing that I am currently working with and probably always will be is thumbnails. I am not the best at thumbnails. That's one of my challenges on YouTube. And even with the magic of Canva, my thumbnails are still not that great. So I'm experimenting with thumbnails. That's one of my challenges. What about you, Michaela? What's one of your challenges with YouTube?
I love making thumbnails. It's one of my favorite parts about it because it kind of tickles the like visual creative side of me that I don't get to engage very often anymore. Um, and you know, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but like I kind of notice certain patterns in videos that get more views with certain kinds of thumbnails. So I find that aspect really interesting. My number one challenge is consistency.
Mhm.
I am an inconsistent person in my life across the board at all times. And so, you know, even though I absolutely understand that, you know, having an upload schedule, like sticking to that schedule, producing content in a reliable way, whether that is my newsletter does not go out and any kind of pattern. It goes out when I do it, you know. Um, Same with my YouTube videos. Like, this is not best practice at all. Like, it's something that I actively work on and have come to a place of acceptance that it will never be my sphere of genius to be consistent. But I have improved, right? And so with YouTube, my ideal is that I put out a video every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Like, that's the template that's in my mind. If I hit one of those days, I'm happy. If I hit two, if I hit all three, it's like, woo. Although I actually am revising that, because 3 in a week with the smaller numbers that I'm still at is almost too many. Like, it's almost too many videos for the people who are following to like track. So
Mhm.
I think actually 2 a week is my sweet spot, is what I have realized. So if I hit a Monday and a Wednesday, I'm that's great, right? And that does happen more and more as I work on it, but consistency will always be a challenge. Um, Having a, for lack of a better term, a niche, like really articulating what specifically this channel is about versus other channels about Reiki. Like, I feel really clear what my perspective is on Reiki. It's teaching it from the perspective of its Japanese origins, and it's emphasizing integrating Reiki into our daily life, as opposed to something that only happens in, if we're a practitioner when we're at work, or, when we've set aside retreat time. It's like, those are the two kind of consistent themes. But inside of that, like, the topics are range all over the place, like all over the place. And so it's challenging to articulate those themes consistently so that people know, what is this channel about, when the topics range so widely. I I'm not sure how well I am doing. I feel, I feel like my tagline is like clear and consistent. I certainly reiterate those points over and over again. But I feel like that's a challenge. And then outside of that, you know, it's, related to consistency. Really finding topics that I feel excited to talk about. Like, I part of why I'm inconsistent is I don't ever want to just go and just talk to talk. If I'm not inspired by something, if that's not something that feels like it's meaningful, I don't want to make a video. you know so I do try to keep a running list of topics, but what I find is that often when I go to that list, the topics feel stale. Like, if I put it on that list more than a couple of days ago, I'm like, it's not alive anymore. Like, that was a moment. Like, I should have just gone live, right? Like, like, I should have just gone live on my phone right then and talked about that thing, because it's not alive anymore. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So that's definitely a challenge, is that the way that I approach content is very much like, what's impacting me in the moment? What am I noticing in that moment? It's hard for me to carry topics over for a long period of time till I can get around to recording about it. And so that, I'm trying to figure out like how to hack that. Part of it is being more willing to just be spontaneous, to like, you know, record the video somewhere that's not my like YouTube space. Like, maybe my hair is a mess. Maybe I'm in a hoodie and I just came in from the garden and I'm sweaty. Like being willing to record when I'm not like on my A game has been a big one, because oftentimes when I have that idea, it is when I'm in the garden. It is when I'm engaged in something else and I'm in my sweatsuit and I'm a mess. But like, that's when the, like, you're engaging in life, right? You're in the midst of the thing that is the inspiration. And if I don't capture it right then, it's probably gone. So that is a big challenge, is kind of retaining that inspiration, either retaining it until I feel like camera ready, or being willing to get on camera when I am not camera ready, I think is how I would say that.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you on that for sure. When I first started my channel, I did a lot of recording outside, and I really enjoyed, recording while I was out hiking. And I stopped doing that because that camera died. and I got a new camera, and that camera didn't record video very well. And then that camera fell into a stream. And so now it's time for a new camera. And I'm like, I need to get one that has good recording so I can record while I'm out hiking again,
Yeah.
and be in those different kinds of places, places where I haven't brushed my hair, and
It's a big problem for you,
I
Christian.
know
I know.
I'm just a mess. So yeah. But Michaela, I really want to encourage you to maybe expand your definition of consistency, because
Mm,
I actually would call you consistent,
mm,
because you're always popping up in my feed. It's like, oh, here's a new video from Michaela in my feed. And to
yeah.
me, that's consistent. And the very fact that you're still here, I think, is real consistency, since most people start a YouTube channel and then quit because it takes so long to grow.
Yeah.
I'll say for me, I do not have a publishing schedule. And so I'll just publish whenever. Like this past week, I think I published the past couple of weeks, like 14 videos in a row every single day.
Yeah, you've been on a roll.
Yeah, because I just had them available. I had edited them, they were ready to go. And I was like, well, why hold on to these? Just schedule one every day. Um, but I don't have, and we know that that's not best for YouTube, as far as
I,
YouTube. YouTube doesn't
yeah.
like when you do too many videos in a row, because then it doesn't know what video to show in the
Prioritize.
your
And
subscribe.
it doesn't like when you change dramatically. So like there was a couple of times, I'm sorry to cut
No,
in there,
yeah,
but I think that's a really important, like for any of you who are watching this because you want tips on how to YouTube, this is an important one, because my thought was the more the better, right? And so I do a seasonal 21-day practice offering. And there's been a couple of times when I've only had one or two people register for the class. And I'm like, well, to make this, you know, feel more abundant, I'm going to just record them and put them on YouTube, and that'll be daily content for YouTube. It'll be, stacking functions like you do in permaculture. And so I did that twice with two series, and it was a terrible idea. It tanked my algorithm for weeks, because it was that immediate change to a pattern that was not what that channel was doing. And I think, yeah, it didn't know what to show people. And then it would show them out of order. And so then people are dropping into the middle of a series when they're like, what's happening right now? Like, I'm on day 14 of a 21-day practice. I don't know what's going on. Am I going to go back to day one? Probably not. So, yeah, that was a terrible idea. And now there are other channels where their pattern is daily, like vlogging channels, often it will be daily, and that's what's normal for those channels. And so it works for them. But yeah, but I'm also like, I've got it. I want to release it. So I have to be disciplined and be like, schedule it for 3 days from now. You know?
and see me, I know the rules, and I just am like, whatever, put it out there.
I mean, it depends on your goal, like if like, yeah, it's like, if hold it lightly, right? We got to do what feels right for us, right? And so if the goal is to like hack the algorithm as best as we can, then yeah, best practices matter. If our goal is to, be spontaneous and share from our heart, when we want to, then there's nothing wrong with doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Wow.
I freaked
Wow.
out though. I'm like, why am I getting no views on any of these videos? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh God, I broke my algorithm. This is a terrible idea.
Yes, and I think that that's the kind of thing that happens. It'll happen again on our YouTube journey as well, for sure. Wow. Well, Michaela, I think that we could talk all day about YouTube. I know that I'm really enjoying this conversation. But we probably have to get back to making videos and posting them. And so, Michaela, do you have any final thoughts for people who maybe are still tuning in? Because I will say that my watch time, my percentage rate is not good. And so,
Yeah, if
if
you're still here,
hey, you are,
congratulations.
yes,
Bless you.
thank you.
We
You
are
are
grateful for you.
boosting our watch time. So, yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
There was one other, yeah, thought, and I'm, you know, in reflecting on my YouTube journey, as we are doing here in this conversation. coming back to, why are we doing it? I think is so much the question. And, I had a YouTube channel. I don't even remember why I started it. It might have been to just house those unlisted videos, actually. And I had, a handful of random videos here and there. But what really like caused me to lean into this space as a space that actually mattered to me was in 2020 when COVID happened, and all of a sudden we were so isolated and we were so separated, and yet all of these insights were happening as I'm observing just that period of time rolling out and observing, really like when the rubber hits the road, what is the impact of a long-term Reiki practice on my physiology, on my psychology, on my emotions when the whole world turns upside down, when everything gets disrupted. And what I had observed was like, damn, this Reiki practice is serious business because I felt grounded and calm, right? And I was like, I gotta tell people about that. Yes, I've known that this Reiki practice benefits me for the years that I've been doing it, but like this is remarkable, like how I am feeling in this time when everything has been turned upside down. And that desire to share the good word of Reiki, and also to track that experience in real time, to sit down and say, hey, I went to the dentist today for the first time, and I've been, and here we are around people, and when the dentist like took my mask off to work on my teeth, I cried because it was the first time I'd shown my face to anybody, like in months, like to realize that and to share it in real time. It was like this wake up of like, this is a space that matters because we can just get on here and talk about what matters to us. And whoever is drawn to that is gonna find it. And again, if it's one person, that matters to me. And so, my journey with YouTube really started on this like deep need to connect when we were so disconnected. And I think that's why I stay with it, because like whatever my goals are, monetization, yes, numbers, yes, the gamification of all of the numbers and the algorithm and all of that, that can be fun. It can be distracting. It's not really the point, right? Because I have this like template in my body of like, the point is connection. That is the point. And that'll always be the point. And that's really what keeps me circling back to it. So I think that would be my advice, is to remember that whatever your goals are for your YouTube channel, the point is connection. And if you stay focused on that, I think you can do something really special.
Oh, I love that, Michaela. That's really great and so true. I think at the end of the day, it's important for all of us to come back to that why and why we're doing something, especially whenever it gets really hard, when we're slogging through, when no one is seeing our videos, just remembering why we're doing it. And, to be the ones putting out positive content, the love and the light. There's a lot of crap on YouTube too. And so, I personally don't tune into it, but oh my gosh, in my feed the other day, shockingly, some terrible video was there. And I was like, why? I complained and I was like, YouTube, don't ever show this in my
Yeah,
feed
why
again.
are
Like,
you showing
why
this?
is this here? I don't watch these kind of videos. But to me, that is just even more of a sign that we need to be doing what we're doing and putting out our kind of content.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So,
Cool.
Michaela, thank you so very much. Always wonderful to chat with you. Thank you so much to Michaela's viewers, her subs tuning in. So, thank you so much.
And
Thanks.
thank you, Christians viewers and Christian subs tuning in. I love this collaboration. I hope we get to do more of them in the future to cross-pollinate these spaces. So thanks for the invitation.
Yes, thank you so much for accepting and sending lots of blessings to everyone.
Yeah. And as you go throughout your YouTube journey, whether as a viewer, a content creator, or someone who's just like, what in the world is this space about? May you be deeply provisioned for that journey. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Thanks.